Eyewitness News at 6, the news specialists.
This major fire has been burning through much of this afternoon at the LDS Seminary building at West Jordan High School. Good evening, I'm Bruce Lindsay.
And I'm Dick Norris. News specialist Karen Shaler is at the scene of the fire right now. Karen, this has been a tough one to fight, hasn't it?
It sure has, Dick, and you can still see the firefighters behind me battling this blaze. Every few minutes you can see flames bursting out of this building. It's a long and a very stubborn fire, and all that a lot of the firefighters can do right now is stand by and watch. The fire started in the middle of the seminary building on the roof where a maintenance crew was working on the air conditioning unit. Flames then moved fast and furious through the attic in all directions, making it almost impossible to fight. Now, school was out when the fire started, but there were some teachers inside the seminary. They were able to get out in time. But for a lot of the seminary students, this fire is destroying a lot more than just a building.
A lot of things are in there that remind us of why we take the time out of our day to, sacrifice a credit, and we see it going up in flames, and it just really hurts.
And fire crews say that this building is going to be a complete loss right now. They are just working to try to put out this blaze. The sides of the building are brick, so what the fire is doing is literally starting on the roof and it's just melting into the building. Again, they do consider this a complete loss. Back to you, Bruce.
in my ears, calling me to stray through the prophet's words. I can't judge their meaning, I can't know the truth and safely find the way. So many things fill my mind with questions, leaving me confused, wondering where to go. To the scriptures page, I can't turn for answers, I can't find the power and learn what I must know. Through the Spirit's whisperings, in the prophet's voice, in the words of Scripture, I can safely make my choice. I'll trust in the Lord with all my heart. I will not lean upon my own understanding. In all my ways, I'll acknowledge Him, and He will direct all my paths. The Spirit's peace is a gentle whisper in the dark of night, in the light of day. It will give me hope, it will lift my spirit when I hear its voice and let my heart obey. Through the Spirit's whisperings, in the prophet's voice, in the words of Scripture, I can safely make my choice. I'll trust in the Lord with all my heart, and I'll not lean upon my own understanding. In all my ways, I'll acknowledge Him, and He will direct all my paths, and He will direct all my paths.
The images men worship are not just of stone and clay. They make idols of their own success and walk their way. Day by day they wander with hearts set on the world. Their pride and greed replace the need to trust the Lord. But we could have faith, we would be strong if He was the power we relied upon. He's the only one with power to save. So we pledge today that we will walk His way. Beginning now we vow to walk His way. Here's the path we follow. He's the only one we serve. We find happiness in His success and trust His word. He is our loving Father. to save. With all our soul we choose this day to walk his way. And as we have faith, we will be strong, for he is the power we rely upon. He's the only one with power to save. So we pledge today that we will walk his way. Beginning now we vow to walk his way.
Brothers and sisters, all is well at the West Jordan Seminary. The seminary is not about buildings or bricks or flames or buses. Seminary is about students gathering and considering Scripture together. That is happening as it happened before. It is happening now. And it is happening as effectively and as powerfully as it ever has. Nothing that matters has changed. All is well at the West Jordan Seminary.
News for Utah's Scott McCain is live on the scene. Scott?
Kimberly and Randall, it is officially a 3-alarm fire. More than 50 firefighters and more than a half dozen pieces of heavy firefighting equipment have been battling this blaze now for more than 2 hours. The first call came in about 3:20 this afternoon, and it appears no one noticed it was a fire at first because crews were on the roof repairing the building's air conditioning unit, and the smell of the smoke was first thought to be work-related. But soon flames were apparent, and fire crews began arriving from West Jordan, Midvale, and Salt Lake County. Luckily, the only folks in the building were a couple seminary workers, no students, and everyone got out okay.
Nobody hurt, everybody out, everybody's accounted for. We're in a defensive mode right now. The fire is chasing through the attic both directions. Apparently started in the middle of the building. We understand that there were some workers on the roof, but that's where we're at right now, nothing really solid.
Randall and Kimberly, LDS Church officials are meeting now and trying to plan and reschedule seminary classes for tomorrow and beyond for the more than 1,300 students who study here regularly. Back to you.
Scott, we can still see the flames over your head or over your shoulder. It's unusual for this many firefighters to fight a blaze that long and still have flames coming out of the ceiling. What's the problem in fighting it?
Apparently, the fire got caught up in the attic, and it was burning from both sides. It was kind of a sideways fire. They had a tough time getting a hold of it. And as you heard in the soundbite there, they said defensive mode, and that generally seems to be code word for giving up on this thing. The building appears to be a total loss. They're just trying to contain it and get it out at this point.
Any thought that this might be arson?
Haven't heard any word on that right now. The early indication is it was the workers repairing the air conditioning unit. No hints of foul play, but it is still early. They just want to get this thing out and get it investigated.
All right, we'll have a full report and an update tonight at 10. Thanks, Scott.
Isn't it?
Yeah, Randall and Kimberly, firefighters are putting the finishing touches on this 3-alarm fire. It's taken 50 firefighters and 9 pieces of heavy equipment more than 3 hours to finally get this thing under control. The first call, as we said earlier, came in about 3:20, and the early indication is crews working on the building's air conditioning unit may have inadvertently sparked this fire. Fortunately, the only people in the building at the time were a few seminary workers, no students. They all got out okay, and as we've just been told, all activities planned for West Jordan High School tonight are canceled.
All right, thanks for the update. More tonight at 10.
Channel 5, Salt Lake City, Utah. This is the #1 Eyewitness News at 6. The News Specialists.
This major fire has been burning through much of this afternoon at the LDS Seminary building at West Jordan High School. Good evening, I'm Bruce Lindsay.
And I'm Dick Norris. News specialist Karen Shaler is at the scene of the fire right now. Karen, this has been a tough one to fight, hasn't it?
It sure has, Dick, and you can still see the firefighters behind me battling this blaze. Every few minutes you can see flames bursting out of this building. It's a long and a very stubborn fire, and all that a lot of the firefighters can do right now is stand by and watch. The fire started in the middle of the seminary building on the roof where a maintenance crew was working on the air conditioning unit. Flames then moved fast and furious through the attic in all directions, making it almost impossible to fight. Now, school was out when the fire started, but there were some teachers inside the seminary. They were able to get out in time. But for a lot of the seminary students, this fire is destroying a lot more than just a building.
A lot of things are in there that remind us of why we take the time out of our day to, sacrifice a credit, and we see it going up in flames, and it just really hurts.
And fire crews say that this building is going to be a complete loss. Right now, they are just working to try to put out this blaze. The sides of the building are bricks, so what the fire is doing is literally starting on the roof, and it's just melting into the building. Again, they do consider this a complete loss. Back to you, Bruce.
Karen, there's still, I guess, about 4 weeks of school left. What about seminary classes tomorrow and thereafter?
Well, there are over 1,200 seminary students here at West Jordan that use this building, so the school is going to house those students either in the gym. They're trying to decide right now, but they said seminary will continue on the school grounds. And the school is also asking everyone to stay out of this area tonight. It's kind of hectic here. A lot of students, a lot of neighbors have come out. But again, no one injured. The school is not in threat. It's about 200 feet away. No neighboring homes are at threat. Right now, we're just trying to put out the blaze.
Thank you. Karen Shader live in West Jordan.
He says activities at the school have been canceled for tonight, but tomorrow, school and seminary will continue at West Jordan High. Mary?
Okay, Michael, do you have any idea yet why it's been taking firefighters so long, what kind of problems they've been running into?
The chief just sort of shook his head in frustration, said that he's not sure about the fire breaks, whether or not they worked, whether they did their job. He said the thin nature of the hallways in the building itself caused the fire to quickly spread in either direction, taking the whole building in just a matter of minutes. Firemen are discouraged because they weren't able to bring it under control. It was mostly brick and tile. They thought they should, but because of the configuration of the building, it just took off on them.
Okay, they get a tough one every once in a while. Thanks a lot. Michael Rawson reporting live from West Jordan.
Tonight, a 3-alarm fire burns down an LDS seminary in West Jordan. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Evans.
And I'm Hope Woodside. First on Fox. A tremendous fire leveled the West Jordan High School Seminary building this afternoon. What started as a small blaze roared into something 4 different fire departments couldn't control. Fox 13's Scott McGrew was on the scene of this fire this afternoon. He joins us live from what is now just wreckage. Scott?
It is just wreckage, Hope. Now, firefighters are still here. They're worried about hot spots in the school itself, or in the seminary itself. The fire out here simply broke the back of the seminary. It didn't stand a chance. Now, just recently, they came up with a cause. It seems they were having trouble with the air conditioning earlier today. Workers came out. This is all, again, according to the fire marshal. Workers came out and were using a brazing torch on the air conditioning piping. Now, apparently, some of the insulation in the area caught fire. That went up the walls and into the attic. And it was all disaster from there. From what the fire didn't ruin, the water did. The very first pictures from an amateur video show a small fire at the West Jordan High School Seminary. A fire no bigger than 10 by 10. A handful of people watch, waiting for the fire department. These pictures were taken by a high school journalism student.
I grabbed my camera and my batteries and my tapes and ran over here real fast, figuring I could get an A in my class for like a new exciting story.
Minutes later, though, the fire is much bigger. Firefighters are forced to back away as the flames grow in brisk winds.
We're still attempting to save as much of both ends of the building as we can. It appeared to have started in the middle, up on the roof, and is traveling both directions through the attic. You can see flames have sparked back up on the roof. As a matter of fact, firefighters just left that section of roof just a moment ago, and here it is, it's sparked up again. Part of the problem they're dealing with is they've got a tar roof, asphalt. It's burning very hot. We're now more than an hour into this fire, and they don't have it under control. In fact, they admit it's probably a goner. Here's
Here's that same spot only 10 minutes later, fully engulfed. The billowing white steam shows success, but black smoke shows what's still burning, and it's growing. Now, fortunately, school had let out for the day, so there are very few kids in the seminary at the time. Just a couple working on projects, and nobody hurt. Hope?
And Scott, thanks for that report.
A major fire today in West Jordan City. An LDS Seminary building goes up in flames. The smoke seen throughout the Salt Lake Valley. Good evening, everyone. Firefighters arrived quickly, and it appeared that they'd have little trouble dousing the flames.
2.5 hours later, exhausted fire crews finally got the upper hand on this stubborn fire, and they're still on the scene tonight. 2 News' Susan Furness is at the West Jordan Seminary right now. Susan, what made this fire so difficult?
Well, Terry, firefighters call it a high fuel load. What they say that is a lot of timber used in the roof. The tar that topped the roof burned very hot. A wire mesh was used on some stucco there, which made it very hard to get into the attic. A lot of stuff inside to burn, and it was burning hot. The place is gutted. You can see tonight that they're here watching for hot spots, keeping an eye on the place, making sure it remains secure. The students, though, say a lot of their memories today went up in smoke.
We just did so much in that building. Memories all gone. We loved it. It was like another home.
It's sentimental and it's memories and it's life for some of us.
West Jordan Seminary students could only watch as flames consumed a part of their lives.
There's a lot of memories, a lot of very important things in that building for a lot of people.
For seminary teacher David Mayer, the loss of the building felt like losing a home.
For myself, I've got 21 years of experience and files and memories and everything that's in my office in there that's gone up in smoke, things that cannot be replaced.
The roof is going to go in completely. There's not much of the roof left.
Firefighters say the blaze started near the center of the rooftop, near an air conditioning unit.
What we understand from witnesses that there was a work crew on the roof working on air conditioning.
Need some pressure, wind it up, Todd!
Fire crews arrived just 4 minutes after seminary teachers called for help, but it took them more than 2 hours to get the fire under control. Battling the flames was exhausting.
We have a rehab area set up over there at our command van. No injuries other than firefighters are getting tired.
The fire spread through the attic, then moved to the main floor and took off in all directions. The building is a total loss.
I know, it's unexplainable. I sat there and watched it.
Now, West Jordan High School canceled all their activities scheduled for tonight, but school will resume tomorrow as usual. Even the seminary classes will be held, not in the building, obviously, but chances are they'll be held in a LDS ward house down the street. Terry?
Susan, any dollar estimates on the loss yet?
At least $1 million, Terry, but probably the higher loss in the mind of the students is all those memories.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Susan Furness reporting from West Jordan.
An attack it from that direction or from inside is pretty much impossible right now.
As fire crews pulled back, the roof of the seminary building lit up. The students could do nothing but watch the building burn.
It hurts. Seminary was our life. We loved it.
About 1,500 West Jordan High students attend religion classes at the LDS Church-owned seminary building. Rumors about the cause of the fire spread almost as quickly as the flames on the roof.
I was asking around to the custodians, and they said that somebody was soldering for the air conditioner and it caught fire and everybody just went running out.
No one got hurt, but the fire consumed everything inside the building.
Many of us have many, many years of information and files and all kinds of things like that were in that building that are just gone.
Now, they tell us that the seminary students will attend class at the high school for the rest of the year. Dick?
The West Jordan Fire Chief says the blaze started in the cathedral-style roof. It spread so quickly, firefighters had to evacuate. The roof collapse destroyed the building. Damage is estimated at $2 million. Seminary staff and students say they feel devastated by the experience, but grateful that no one was injured or killed in the fire.
Even though the teachers may stand to lose a number of things, materials that they have prepared over the years, to a certain extent, those things can be replaced, and there's no way, human life can be restored. So as bad as it was, it could have been much worse.
And while the LDS Seminary is rebuilt, the school has offered temporary space for classes, but the church may choose to bus the students to a nearby stake center.
Jordan Seminary, or what was the West Jordan Seminary. It has been burning for about an hour. From the view to the north.
There's much of it left, or I'll just...
I know.
What do you want to take a video of, Ralph?
I took some video of the side of it a minute ago. I can't believe it's still burning.
I was surprised when it got through that roof. It was just
let a lot of air in.
Well, that was their effort.
Well, it probably wasn't a grass stop or whatever.
I don't think it was. Judging by what's happened, I don't think there's a fire stop across there.
I thought that's been standard procedure for years.
This is built in '83. And so there are two things. One, there may not have been one. Two, what was there may not have been closed properly. They have doors in those things. Sometimes the custodian will go up there and open it. Maybe this guy, he's working up in there, so he's got the door propped open while he's working up in there. And all the protection that would have existed disappears.
Well, typically a draft stop is only like a 20 minutes, only one piece of sheetrock.
Yeah,
inside.
one piece of...
It'll burn through in 20, 30 minutes.
Hello, William.
Can you get into this one, man? Yeah, it's a Stevens.
Shirley? Because I was coming south.
I mean, we could see it from the moment we rolled up over the top of 6 South. I could see it. And I could tell then it was still burning hot, so...
I tried to call Tony Owens, but...
we got a message in on his recorder.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
How many
man.
room is this?
9. 8 or 9, Stuart? 8. Dennis said they're 3 weeks away from being done. Okay. Ross, one of the really important things will be that they make a decision to do something for a week period of time. Because if they try to hold them together, it's just a big group.
You turn the wheel, maybe you can't turn it, lock up.
That'll be super.
Gentlemen, I'm trying to coordinate the media. He is requesting somebody to work here inside the building.
Not under this circumstance, that's for sure.
Where is it?
I did. Well, see, you've got the heat underneath it, plus you've got that the roofing material is a wonderful fire source.
Well, they can't get the water right down.
They're going to bring another ladder unit up.
Yeah, and this car.
back on the west end now. Camera's been off for about 20 minutes. I've been talking to the Director of Public Safety out here, Ken Montague. Which I think that's what he said his name was. Ken McGuire, excuse me, Ken McGuire. They're still pouring thousands of gallons of water into this thing. They can't get it out. It keeps burning from the inside out. There's no way for them to get up underneath it to fight it. They have County Fire, West Jordan Fire, Magna, I think was out here too, with all their Salt Lake County. Here you can see the unit dumping water down on this thing. Now, just after 6 o'clock, they're still pouring water into this thing like crazy. This is the west end. The walls that you're looking at here are currently bowed out about 5-6 inches at the top, especially right in that middle section. The walls down the side here on the south side are buckling out and some buckling in. As the fire begins to cool, there begins to be more and more appearance of the fact that we probably are going to lose this whole structure. At least it sure appears that that's possible at this time. As near as they can tell, the fire started right about the middle of the picture here on a soffit where they were extending an air conditioning pipe up into the attic. And as they're brazing the pipes together, it probably sparked the insulation, and the fire would have traveled very rapidly up the insulation clear to the crest of the ridge. And as they started to try and fight the fire right there at its source, what they wouldn't have known was that the fire was all the way to the ridge and then spreading across the ridge east to west, and the entire building was staged to be lost before they could really even begin to deal with it. I'm right here at the corner. You can see right through the roof there, or right through the window. This is the back. You can see the water there. Pumping water. That's one of the back classrooms. You can see the doorways. Still a tremendous amount of smoke out here. I'm going to get where I see if I can get a shot of the back side here. That mist coming on the camera lane down the back side. I'm getting quite a bit of water on my face as they're spraying and fighting over here. You can see how the building's buckled and there's bad bowing down this side. It is now 6:45 and the west end just reflamed and they're just barely dousing that again. It's been 45 minutes since the last picture were taken, and you can still see some hot spots here. As you look at this is on toward the east end, and you can see that smoke, gray smoke, black smoke coming up there. It's that part's the soffits are still trying to burn. It's now 7:20. That's the hallway we're looking down, less the firefighters in the way. See a little bit of light down through there.
We're making sure that everything is all right. One second. He's going to put a ladder up there so we can see.
We're coming in from the south corner.
This room was apparently early on, that door was ajar. That's one of the reasons you have so much. They may have been working on that one.
Yeah.
Or had been working in here. I can bring you back through a little.
You see some of the pictures are still intact. The wall carpet did reasonably well here.
Yeah. I did quite well. I'm pretty impressed with the fact that we didn't get fire.
You need to know how much effort we went through with the guys that build this stuff to make it past 42-2. You know, I mean, there was a lot of time and money expended by the manufacturer to get a carpet that was, you know, was certifiable to that.
One of the biggest exposure was this area on this side. But come on now, let's fly.
Kendall will be thrilled. His pictures survived. And most of them look like they're probably reasonably cleanable and salvageable. We didn't even melt down the finish on the stuff.
This is the area through here. We'll take you in here. This is where you're even with where the fire started. And if you get into the office that's over there, you can look up. You've got bare clean stuff. It went right over the top of that.
Boy, it did. Well, I was looking at the TGIs, and you can see along those that are left, they're burned along the upper edge of the TGI. You can see that the fire followed right along the top edge and worked its way all the way along.
I don't know where else in this place they may have had this material.
I don't know. It scares me. I wonder if we've got one other building like this one that's over at Taylorsville High School, and if they, you know, if they followed the same kind of an approach.
If you want to see this, come on down this way.
It's classroom number 6. You can see the desk still in place. Excuse me. Poke the camera in here. There's the scriptures. You can see the scriptures are still here. Cabinets came off the back of the wall.
There's a room just on the other side of this one here. That's mechanical room. This is where they were first attacked. Well, this room doesn't look.
No, it's just weight of the water and the.
Doesn't look like the flaming gutters.
No. Drywall ceilings came down.
But when you see what's backing all this stuff, I mean, we're trying, you hit one of these, and these are hard enough. Huh?
See, that's a hard-faced tile. It's designed so the kids can't smack it with their knuckles and put dents in it.
Firefighters can't smack it either.
No.
We learned that. I hit those things with pipe poles and just boom, it just stopped right there.
Yeah.
There's just no getting through it. We eventually punched a couple of holes that were much bigger than about the size of this, and we around this spot.
This is looking into number 4. This is the office next to number 4.
Yeah, well, I say, you know, we really need to invest in a bayonet house just for exactly like this. You know, you have a special.
This is the office off of number 3. Looks like it just had storage in it.
Well insulated. You would end up, when we got the hole open, you'd end up pulling the majority of the entire bat out just to be able to have access to the hole.
Where was the attic at?
I don't know. Move down here. This is as far in. Yeah.
What's that? Oh, you cut the
Damage it right here. Up over the top of this room is where we popped one hole, and the other one probably ended up marks in it. I wonder if they try to poke the hole over here. My partner was not over this one, but over the top of this one, was trying to get into the void from over there.
Kendall's office.
See, we came
it's still locked.
Run right into the custodial room, shut the power off.
This is room 2.
Yes, we did.
We did our job.
But we had such heavy smoke conditions at this door when we tried to make access that we couldn't get into it. We just had that high pressure there. And we walked in, you could
Craft paper on the insulation was facing up. You get down here and you can see where it's all just glue. The top is 50% glue.
Which way did Reed and Tony go?
They're in there. I think they went in here. Someone's back there again.
I just don't know how they got
They in
back
there?
into there.
Yeah, they're back in here. Oh.
They went back through here?
You have to go, yeah, underneath this.
Okay.
Go underneath that and
okay.
Back in there.
You can see the books. There's a lot of scriptures that are all here. They're wet, but they're here. Some of them aren't even wet. Office. You see an awful lot of stuff still here intact. File cabinets are still in piece. It's going to be wet inside, huh? Gentlemen, excuse me, can I sneak by you? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we'll show you down here when we took it out.
That stuff's terrible. That stuff burns like crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's either this or beer cooler.
Yeah.
It's got two purposes.
They had, now, okay, that's where they were working, and that's where, because I know he told me he had one.
There was a little torch in
one
here.
guy on each. They had a guy on each side.
Right.
And so he would have gone here, straight up the wall, then in that first
right
space.
Straight up that first space and all the way across.
I was looking at the structural plans, and you've got it designed with that insulation bat, and you've got, it looks like, 4 to 6 inches of freeboard above the insulation bat that's just open air channel.
Yeah.
And it was a natural draft.
A natural draft, and it was hot.
I would think that
yeah,
that insulation and paperback of the other insulation kind of fire.
Yeah.
From their torch, if you climb up the ladder now and look down the wall, you can see that it's all burned out.
It just burned out all of that insulation right up through both the fiberglass as well as the foam.
Yeah. Everything in this pocket, I couldn't see any more down in there. Right in that gap is where the pump is. You want to climb up and take a video?
I do. That's a good shot.
I love your ladder.
Yeah.
This is looking down the channel. It's kind of dark in there, but that's the channel where the fire burned through. Watch your head. Yeah. You got the base of the ladder. Now obviously up on top. You can see what happened here is you look at it, you can see that's the top of the roof, and underneath it is the burned support pieces, and you can see what happened. Well, you can see what happened. The webbing and the TGI is burned out. That webbing's only a half-inch web anyway, and when it burned, then all the structural integrity gave out.
It did burn back to the bottom.
No, it didn't burn the bottom cord or the top cord of the TGI. It just burned the web. And then the web just disappeared.
Well, and that's why it's spread from pocket to pocket.
Yeah, well.
But it also didn't release the material that was on the bottom side of it because it wasn't burning.
No. Those TGIs, they probably had holes punched. In fact, you can see some here. They had holes punched through them for conduit, for electrical, and because of those holes, then that would have been an automatic place for the fire to travel from channel to channel.
Right. It also means whatever water you put up in one channel doesn't affect the other.
No, huh? That's goofy. Turn the other direction now, face west, and stay here without falling off the roof. House up in Pine Brook, and we had a fire in the house, and one of the sections there, we lost one piece in the roof. It was we think electrically caused fire, but it was up on the second story in a bathroom wall. And it burned about a 20-foot hole, 10-foot diameter on 4 directions, you know, just a circle in the middle of the house. But we had TGIs that were spanning a huge, you know, vaulted ceiling 2 area that kind of came across that. And we lost one TGI that we had to go back in and splice that in to replace it. But I didn't, you know, when that happened, I didn't notice this kind of thing like I'm seeing here. Or I did, but I didn't know it then because it was just the one. Well, I realized what it was doing.
See, your Owens Corning, I don't know what brand it is, but this insulation, it does real well. See, it'll harden and crystallize back.
This is a second classroom in from the west on the north side of the building. You can see here there's more fire damage in this particular area than there was in many of them. See up above here the damage to the beams. I'm standing next to journal cabinets, all of which are still closed. They're locked. And the video cabinet was locked. Looking into the office here, I can see some of these diplomas on the wall. I can see a computer there, and you can see pictures. You can see that through there. You can see the pictures and books and things that are all still pretty much intact. So I'll give you an idea of the main wall, some of the picture stock that's still here. That's Ted in the middle of that. He's not part of the pictures. This is Reed. He's not part of the pictures either. But see the stuff that's here.